Today's video is more aimed at the beginner cyclist, or in fact people like me, who learn how to plan to avoid getting problems by not planning and having those problems. Once bitten, twice shy, I always say. I'm going to take you through the things I feel are essential to take out on every bike ride. The first few items are tools to get you back on the road when the most common issues occur. And then I've chucked in a couple of other non-tool essentials at the end, which hopefully makes sense. First of all then, the most common problem out the ride is pretty obviously you need to be prepared for a puncture. So number one accessory for taking with you is a spare inner tube. Now, this is actually a surprise to some new cyclists who may have childhood images of fixing a puncture with a basin of water looking for the bubbles. The norm nowadays is to carry a replacement and just swap it over by the side of the road. A much quicker process than repairing a punctured tube. Some people will then choose to toss it away, but please do that responsibly rather than contribute to the fly tipping of rubber tyres that blights our countryside these days. Better still, roll it up and try to repair it when you're back home. On a longer ride, I'll add to the contingency plan by taking a second spare tube in case of extra bad luck. And if you're really unlucky to use up all your spare tubes, then number two is the good old puncture repair kit. It's a tried and tested fallback option and definitely worth carrying with you on a long day out on the bike. Pretty obviously, a real essential accessory is a pump. You'll no doubt already have one at home, but part of this is about taking the essentials with you without burdening yourself with heavy and bulky items. So get yourself one of these. There is no doubt, however, that by trying to find the smallest pump, you may be compromising on quality. I found this to my cost on a ride last year, when after changing the tube, the pump, which was bought specifically so it would fit into my very small saddlebag, was actually as useful as a chocolate teapot and just wouldn't inflate the tyre. Very, very fortunate for me, I was only 10 minutes walk away from the giant bike store in Shoreham, who thankfully let me use a track pump and I was on my way. The replacement I bought was bigger and better quality, but too big to put in my saddlebag. But this nifty setup here was ideal and leaves you room in the bag for when I need to take an extra inner tube. The next item is a pair of tyre levers. Not essential for some who seem to be able to get away with getting the tyre off the wheel rim with their bare hands, but particularly if you have arthritic fingers like I have, then these are a must. The next item could actually save you a bit of room in your saddlebag, and that's a multi-tool, the cyclist Swiss Army knife. There are many different kinds with differing amount of tools on them, but this one actually has tyre levers attached to the side, which could be a space saver if your saddlebag is getting pretty full. This will adjust and tighten most things on your bike, adjusting your saddle height in the middle of a ride, for example. But many are sold without this, a chain breaker, and I recommend that you have it as part of the tool that you carry with you. I was lucky not to fall foul of this particular piece of poor preparation. Try saying that quickly. By the time I was doing solo rides of over 50 miles, I realized one day that if my chain broke, I wouldn't have a clue what to do, which is plain stupid really and pretty irresponsible on my part. So next day, I was on YouTube learning from a video and buying a new multi-tool, this one. If you have the misfortune to break a chain, and you now have a way of getting the damaged link out of the chain, then you'll also need one of these in your back, known as a multi-link. Each half very easily connects to the two ends of the chain and then to each other, and then you're off and away again. Just make sure you get the right one for the chain and the number of gears on your bike, because they are different. So that's you with a contingency plan against the simple mechanical problems you might encounter on a ride. But the really, really essential tool for the more complicated problem is this. Hello? Can you pick me up, please? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, take your phone with you. It can ensure your rescue if you have a more complicated problem. And these days it can also help with one of the other essentials, and that's to have some money with you. For the whole array of reasons, not least to keep you fed and fueled. And if you haven't got the fed and fueled bit right, it's not just your bike that might break down. Your body is your engine after all. And if you're flagging and miles from anywhere, then please have some backup energy with you in whatever form suits you. But an energy bar or gel easily tucks away in the pocket and will get you out of the mire until you can eat properly. You also need to keep hydrated, so always take a drinks bottle with you. And bear in mind, if you run out and can't find a shop, any cemetery that you pass on your ride, and there are loads around, will always have an outside tap for an emergency refill. The last thing you really should have with you is some identification, in case the unthinkable happens. Again, your phone may well be the answer to this with information on it. It seems to be the modern day multi-tool. But I also have with me my British Cycle membership card with my emergency contact written on it. So that's a quick look at some essential things to take with you on every ride. And it all fits into a small saddlebag like this and a jersey pocket. Obvious stuff to many, but certainly for me, they weren't things I'd necessarily thought about as I took my first steps or pedal strokes into the world of cycling. And if I've helped one person new, then my work is done, as they say. I'll leave you with my usual plea to give a thumbs up if you found this useful, and more importantly, click down there and subscribe to my channel. By doing that, the way the algorithm works, more people will get to see this apparently. So that's all from me. Happy cycling, and I'll see you soon.